At about 6:43, he was discharged from the hospital, where he was escorted in his wheelchair to our JPSO police unit. He was locked in the back with the cage in it, and for our deputy to drive him back to our Sally Port here at our jail, and to be able to be transferred back to his cell from that standpoint. What it appears happened is when she started pulling off from the Ochsner campus, he started screaming at his boot. His boot was causing him pain. It was caught under the cage or whatever. Look, she acted like a human being. She thought she had a person that was hurting from the back of it. She treated somebody with compassion that doesn't deserve compassion, to be honest with you. She could have certainly turned around and said, tough luck, suck it up, we're going to get to the Sally Port and do whatever. Instead, she got out of a vehicle to go fix his boot, to go check on him to see what happened. Unbeknownst to her, he had had some type of pepper spray that was there. He had already removed the boot from his leg, ended up spraying her with the pepper spray as she opened up the door, and then ran around the vehicle and ended up jumping into the car and taking off in the police vehicle. Very proud of the men and women of this department, but not only this department, state agencies, federal agencies, and all of our local agencies. Within an hour of that happening and the call coming out, we had a major response here at our office. I probably had well in excess of 200 detectives, deputies arriving on the scene in order to locate this individual. We started utilizing all the technology that we have available. I found the vehicle really within 2.5 hours of it being stolen. But I mean, you think about the time it takes us to even respond to get here and then start setting it out. That's a monumental task to be able to find that vehicle. Found it. Radio that was inside the car was located, along with the wrap that was on his arm. We had preventions from being able to be handcuffed or shackled during the situation. He had a, faked a wrist injury to be handcuffed, and obviously had a boot on from preventing him to be shackles. Hindsight 2020, we probably, should have done a whole lot different, but sometimes you've got to take their word and medical staff's word of what's wrong with him, and unfortunately, he gamed the system in order to be able to take advantage of that situation. So he's still on the run. We are actively looking for him with all of our federal partners and local partners. I really thank all of our local agencies. I'm not even going to get into them. I'll deal with that when he's back in custody. But everybody has been a godsend to be able to come to the rescue in order to make that happen. We're going to do everything to get him back in custody. Tell him to enjoy his time out for a little bit, because he won't enjoy it for the rest of his life, that he's going to be in jail for his original charge. And with that, I want to give any and every evidence we have received. Obviously, a lot of people that have given tips and stuff. Crime Stoppers has graciously offered a $5,000 reward that we want to put out there to the public. If you want to see him back in jail, or you just want $5,000 in cold hard cash, we'll be happy to take your tip. If it leads to the arrest of him, Crime Stoppers will certainly pay that reward. They can contact 822-1111, right? 822-1111. And so we'd love to have those tips. Our deputy's doing fine. She was certainly pepper sprayed. I'm going to release the video today to y'all. We have a video from Ochsner where you can see her stop her vehicle in order to get out and see her pepper sprayed with the pepper spray. And then him obviously taking the car, something that we're comfortable releasing at this point in time. We don't think that's going to jeopardize the investigation, but certainly I'll answer whatever questions that I can answer for you, but I'm not going to give you everything. For the pundits out there, criticizing my correctional officer or criticizing us, we should have had more people and everything else in between, to be able to escort someone. That's just not the way it works in real life. The fact of it is prisoners are transported by single-person cars almost on an everyday basis. We'll never have enough people out there, but if you really think it needs to be two, we're taking applications here at JPSO. You can come join us instead of criticizing the people on Facebook, jpso.com/jobs. We'll take an application. We have openings for correctional officers, and you can be part of a two-man team if you really think that's the way it goes in real life. Sometimes stuff happens. Sometimes it's not perfect. We certainly are going to do what we can to get him back in custody, but I'm not going to put up with that from the standpoint of protecting our people. They go out there and they do a tough job every single day, and in this case, this animal took control of the situation and took advantage of her trying to be a nice person and trying to do a good job. And so, you know, if you want to come out there, come apply, and we'll take care of it. With that, I'll release the video. We have copies of y'all to take back with you to your station so you can put it out there. Unfortunately, the haze that night doesn't give you the necessary clear picture, but we can ask for really a better view. What you telling me on this camera? All right, I'll move out the way.
All right, you can kill the lights. We apologize for this glare in the video. All right, so right now, the view that you see right now is from Auctioner. This is one of the security cameras. You'll see the vehicle actually come into play, and you'll see everything that transpired in the middle frame.
And that's behind the hospital, or?
I think it's side motor shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, side is more accurate.
All right, so at this point, she exits her patrol unit. She's walking around. She opens the door, and they're about to have a conversation. Right now, what you're seeing is just reflection from the dome light inside the car. If you look closely right here, at any second, you'll see a burst, like a mist from the spray, which is right now. At this point, he actually sprays again at the deputy, enters the vehicle, and he takes off. And what you see right here is the actual boot that he had on his foot that he left behind.
So she was under the effects of the pepper spray immediately thereafter. We actually had nurse run back in and called it into 911, so our second district started responding. Her radio was in the vehicle itself. We were able to disable the radio almost immediately to make sure the criminal didn't have access to any communications, and that radio was located in the vehicle once we found it on scene. So we really didn't have any issues with that. But again, a lot of detectives working very hard in the immediate aftermath over the last few days in order to track this person down, and hopefully, I'm confident we'll have a successful outcome soon. He can enjoy his time out shortly, but we'll catch up with him. Yeah, I'll take any questions. Yep, Michelle.
Do you think he faked both injuries to wrist?
I did, yes. I mean, look, he was arrested with a boot back in July. He's been confined to a wheelchair, you know, during that period of time. I do believe he had a previous ankle injury, but I think he was milking the boot injury, you know, probably for a long period of time. I mean, you obviously see he can walk without the boot, so I think that's a ruse. I don't have any indication that he had a wrist injury. I think that's been, you know, completely faked, you know, in order to make sure he couldn't get cuffs on him from that standpoint. Unfortunately, our deputies don't always have access to the medical records, and so, you know, even when we're at a hospital, we got to rely on the medical provider to give us the information or not give us the information from a HIPAA standpoint. So we're there from a security to make sure it doesn't escape, you know, and we don't necessarily know the medical treatment that's there. So it's not a perfect system, but, you know, we can probably do a little bit better job of talking to each other to know. But when, you know, different people are coming on different shifts, if you see somebody in a boot, okay, well, I guess he needs to be in a boot. That's not always the case. And look, let's face it. He would have at least been cuffed. At the very least, you know, with the boot. Normally, yes, the answer is he would have been cuffed and shackled, you know, provided the medical injury. I mean, we had other deputies at Ochsner. I mean, we have rovers that go back and forth. So, I mean, it's not like there was not other people at that hospital at the time. That's regular for us to be at the hospital with additional, you know, inmates and, you know, other people. So they were there with them to get him in the car. I mean, I think she thought she was going to open up the door, adjust his boot, and head back onto the jail. And, you know, obviously he had other plans.
Is there any indication of where or how he got that pepper spray?
Not yet. I'm certainly going to ask him that question when we get him in custody. But no, it was not our deputy on the scene. She had custody of her pepper spray, so it was not hers. We have some theories, but I'm not going to go that far yet. We'll certainly question him about it when we get him in custody.
And if you could just talk about the efforts right now, I know you said a lot of agencies are involved, if you could talk about that.
We've got a ton of agencies, right, utilizing everything that we have. They've been out. We will continue to be out. I'm not going to give you specifics on what we're doing. I'll give you a little bit better play when it's appropriate to do so, but right now is not the time.
And just when it comes to the victim's family.
From the original,
Right.
yes.
The original murder, have they been notified?
They have. They were notified immediately, and that's protected. We're aware of that situation. We'll do what we can to make that happen. But yes.
At what point did the deputy involved begin to fire? I know Sunday you mentioned she fired 3 shots.
Yeah, I think she fired 3 shots. I think she's just out of frame. I think the shots happened on that. On the film that we sent you, she's just out of frame, so you don't see it. But the casings are consistent with that. I think you just don't see her firing.
Did the bullets actually hit the unit? Did it?
I don't think it hit. I hope it hit him, to be honest with you. But no, I don't have any indication if that's the case. I don't. Right now, I don't have that. We'll check him for holes when we catch them. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think we had. To be honest with you, I didn't ask to see if we had any holes in our unit when we recovered it. I just didn't ask that question. So I don't know an answer for that. I know our crime scene went out there and documented. I'm sure they tried to look and figure it out and do whatever they can, but I don't have that answer for you.
And was anything taken from the unit whenever he stole?
No, I don't think so. No, nothing that we believe is missing from the vehicle. There's a pool unit that she happened to be in the day, so there's nothing really that was there. As I said, the radio was found in the unit. So no, but there was no other really equipment there that we're worried about. I don't have that yet. So yes, I mean, the answer is I don't think it was found in the vehicle, Michelle. So we're still looking for that pepper spray, but it wasn't in the vehicle.
Do you believe that he was planning this escape the whole time, like with the different injuries?
I mean, look, we're going to ask him that question, but for being as elaborate it is, I don't think it was a chance encounter. I think he was jammed. But we're certainly going to follow up on a whole bunch of things.
You mentioned the protocol in transporting with only 1 deputy, and due to staffing shortages. Is this now? Do you guys plan to maybe change that protocol?
No, I mean, look, to transport somebody in a locked police car behind a cage is a 1-person. If I had 2 people, 2 deputies to transport and drive people around back and forth to hospitals, just give me a whole bunch more tax money. I mean, it's just not realistic, right? I mean, could she have done something different and said, tough luck? Could she have turned around and waited for another deputy comes down and says, yeah, she could have done a whole lot of things, right? I mean, but again, we deal with 1,200 inmates every day that have needs, that have problems, that we have to adjust and assist and make that happen. That's not something that's unusual by any means, right? He took advantage of the situation and took advantage of her to make that happen, but I don't think it creates a large-scale change on it. I mean, it's just not something that is realistic. Can we take, better precautions with certain inmates? Of course we can. We've got to manage those, and, when bad something happens, we can criticize it, but we probably transported 20 people to the hospital without incident yesterday. Do we do that to every single person? No, the answer is we can't do that. It's just not realistic.
Sure. So if you could just let us know if you actually searched where the suspect used to live.
I'm not going to give you that, but I'll give you a whole bunch once he's in custody. I'll help y'all out and give you the information that you're looking for. But as I said the first night, let our people work. I know the public wants to know. I know y'all want to know. But we've got a job to do. I hope he's looking at my pretty face right now on TV, and and realizes he'll look at me a lot more often. I'll make sure I'll put a picture close to his cell.
Sheriff, can you talk a little bit about the department's policy to fire at a fleeing vehicle?
Well, I mean, look, at this point in time, we actually train to be able to try to fire when you're pepper sprayed. I mean, let's face it, she just got pepper sprayed. She doesn't know where he's at. I mean, I don't think she's firing a fleeing vehicle. She's firing at a guy that's still coming at her. Now, he just made a right turn and another right turn and jumped into the car, but she doesn't know that at that point in time. Certainly, under the scenario that she's in, he's got the ability to go attack her and take her gun from her, so I don't have any problems with what she did. I mean, look, I'm not going to second guess it. It's you're put in those situations, they're split second from that standpoint. It's not a scenario where she's firing off shots as he's, flying down the street. That's not the case. He's coming out the car, he's coming towards her. She can't barely see. She's firing to keep him away and keeping, hand on her own gun. I'll let critics criticize, but the fact of it is, until you're in those shoes, she's got a right to defend herself, and I think she has every right.
And it appears Mr. Ruffin, according to court records, has a criminal history in Mississippi as well. Do you all believe that he's still here in the state?
I don't know yet. That we'll hopefully find out soon enough. I don't care where he is. I don't care where he flees to. We're going to find him. So I don't know that yet for a fact. If I knew where he was, trust me, we'd be having a different press conference.
But have other states been notified? Because I was on the app. Have you guys notified?
Yeah, I mean, warrants have been put in the computer. NCIC's outside. Obviously, our federal partners are out there, handling it. So, I mean, I can't say specifics of, okay, we're notified this state or this jurisdiction. If we get it narrowed down, we'll provide that information to those agencies. But we're not to that point yet.
Can you talk a little bit about it? I know you deployed a ton of resources on Sunday. Did you all launch the helicopter or anything like that?
We had to launch helicopters, we launched drones, we launch everything and anything that we can. I mean, to be honest with you, Sunday night was a fun night for me. I haven't been to boots on the ground in a long time, and, being there and watching these men and women work with the technology that they have today that I didn't have 20 years ago was fun for me, just to sit in a room and watch them go and do it, right? It was, it's a good world for law enforcement right now to be able to get behind things and put things together. So, I hate to say it's a bad situation from the standpoint, but on the other standpoint, looking at it from, the dedication that these men and women have to drop what they're doing on a Sunday night to be here and say, what do we need? Where do we need to go? And, you do this, you do this, you do this, and everything getting done has been a 24-hour event, over and over and over for the last 2 days. They're not going to give up until they catch them.
If Mr. Ruffin is watching this right now, what would you want him to know?
Well, two things. Either you turn yourself in now and just get it over with and be done with it, or enjoy the last few hours or days or whatever you're going to have, because you're not going to like the rest of it. Real easy.
Do you feel he had any help at all?
I'm not going to go that far yet, but if he had help, we're going to find out, and they'll join him in a jail cell also. That's the easiest way to do it. We're gonna track down every phone call, every place, every person he talked to, anything and else in between, and they can join him there for a little while.
Sheriff, last thing for me, really. Can you talk a little bit about the strategy as well? Sunday night, we received an email notifying us of an escaped inmate and that a press conference would be held. Why at that point did we not have the suspect's name to at least, and then say the press conference is going to happen in an hour? Why was that information withheld?
I mean, to be honest with you, that's not normal from us from standpoint. We made the decision very quickly that we were having a press conference to get his information out as quickly as possible. So, I mean, it's not something that we were withholding on purpose. It was be here in an hour and I'm going to give you every information I can give you. That's not normally in our, if we have a homicide notice, we don't put who the homicide is. We just tell you this is the location to come, and we're going to give you the information when you get there. So it's certainly not a withholding by any means. As soon as you got there, within 2 minutes, your camera's turned on, and I gave you all the information that we needed. So that's not something that was specific to being withheld. We wanted that information blasted as quickly as possible. Hell, anything else? Hopefully our next conference will be a lot better one. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
My back up there.